What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 3. This is going to be a Division 1 game from the American region. This is hosted, of course, by Join Dota, and it's brought to you by HeflaTV. I am your only caster today. I'm Mike Loris. Unfortunately, all the other HeflaTV casters are sleeping because we've been covering a lot of Southeast Asia games, and for some people it happens pretty early, like me. It was 7 o'clock, and that wasn't fun. But I am here, and I will bring you these games because that's just what I do. We have Tengen Gaming on the Radiant playing up against Top5 on the Dire. Talking a little bit with the chat about this, and I think for the most part we agree that these teams were fairly evenly matched. So, I mean, what more could you hope for? I guess you do have to worry about the fact that there are two stand-ins for Top5. I have seen Yish play, YSH, but not really sure who this guy is, so might be problematic for Top5, might not, but hell, we will see as this game does pick up. We have a draft going already, and well, it's going to be Tengen Gaming picking up the Razor as well as the Tidehunter as their first two picks, as well, Faceless Void, Ember Spirit getting a rather early ban out from the Top5 team, going to let the powerhouses Doom and Razor both get through the pool. So the offlane and core roles for Tengen Gaming are well on their way. Expect both teams to give a lot of hate to these supports in this second round of bans, and even Top5 banning out a Pugna. Well, I guess they just really don't want their Skywrath Mage to run into that hero, because Pugna is pretty damn good against the Skywrath Mage, if I do say so myself. But it's also a nice pusher hero that Tengen Gaming may or may not have wanted to go for. I would say with the Razor Tidehunter, they're kind of slanted away towards pushing and more towards that big team fight. But Tengen Gaming, no matter what, they should be relatively prepared for it, as they do, or Top5 rather. Top5 should be rather prepared for Tengen Gaming's team fight, as they do have the Doom. It's one of the best tools against a Tidehunter if you get the Doom on the Tidehunter before he pops the Ravage. If you can do that, then you're golden. You're most likely going to win that fight because Tengen are going to be without their most influential AoE skill. But if you can't make that happen, then Doom at that point is going to get a little bit iffy. So the supports did get a good amount of hate, Brewmaster also getting kicked out by Tengen. And now we're into our second pick phase. The Razor Tidehunter is going to be supported for now by an Earthshaker. I mean, there's not too many great support heroes still left in the pool. But as far as supports go, you could partner pretty much anyone up with an Earthshaker. Hell, even with the Tidehunter, you could get a good Earthshaker Witch Doctor combination going. Abuse the fact that Doom has low base armor, and will drop a Death Ward on him early on when he only has 2-3 armor from items. That'll be a pretty good situation for Tengen, and they'll also be able to get that damage out. Top5, though, looks like they're going to solidify their lanes and picking up the Viper. A very similar hero to the Razor as far as the hero's role in the game and in lanes in general. It's a ranged hero that's agility that usually gets pretty tanky, and early game will do a lot of damage, and late game will also do a good amount of damage, but it's all about the bulk for those heroes. So, pretty much mirrored picks for the Top5 and Tengen Gaming team as far as the Razor and Viper are concerned. And it looks like Tengen, they're going to pick up their last core in the Invoker. Doesn't have that much great setup just yet. I'm inclined to think this is going to make Tengen Gaming pick up a more for sure stun as their last pick. And if they don't do that, then try to just get a really good aggressive combination with the Earthshaker. If they aggressively roam with like an Earthshaker AA with the Tidehunter Ravage to back it up in the team fights, then they'll be looking pretty good. Because as it stands right now, Tengen, they're gearing up for some pretty massive team fight. In Top5, they're just looking to survive it. Viper and Doom are definitely capable of getting hit with a whole bunch of spells from Tengen and then getting out of there alive. Skywrath Mage not so much, but again, he does offer a very useful silence. That Arcane Seal, Ancient Seal, Arcane Bolt, Ancient Seal is going to be very useful, along with this Doom in order to shut down the Tidehunter. And hell, even if Tidehunter gets his Ravage off, you could always Doom or silence the Invoker. Oh, sorry guys, the open mic was off. My apologies. Yeah, I was playing games, and you'd never want to play games with the open mic on. That is just a bad idea, because when you swear to yourself, you're also swearing to your team, and then everyone gets, a little bit pissed about that. But open mic is now on, and we are going to be continuing on as Top5. Still looking for one of their support heroes. They would have done really well with the Earthshaker. Skywrath Mage Earthshaker just amplifies so much damage, and you're going to be able to lock people down and kill them pretty quickly, even though they may be the Razors and the Tidehunters of the world. And as far as other support heroes for Top5, Well, I mean, Vengeful Spirit is always a decent enough support hero. As I said before, Witch Doctor is probably a little bit more of a hero that Tengen Gaming want to pick up. Scarith Mage wants to amplify that magical, so, you know, I don't know. The assortment for supports are pretty wide for top 5. These kinds of things would really be helped by if I had just like a giant list of all the heroes, so as to not skip over any. They always have the Rubik available against a Tidehunter, and an Invoker is certainly going to be very useful. And with Scarith Mage, it's a good setup for Mystic Flare, though early on in the game the Rubik doesn't actually contribute that much damage. It's more just pure setup. If you're setting up a Scarith Mage and Viper, you could probably get the kills. But otherwise, you're going to be lacking damage if you go for that pick. And it looks like top 5, well, they're going to go for a Rubik. Not a Rubik, a Puck. What the hell's wrong with me? I got Rubik on the brain. They're going to go for a Puck. And it is most likely going to be soloing the mid lane, I want to say, with Viper, Skyrath, Mage, going together with the last supports, as both teams do need another support. This is actually kind of uncommon, both teams needing supports to round out their draft. But top 5 going to make very good use of yet another silence in that Puck. So Invoker, Tidehunter, and even Earthshaker are going to be hit pretty hard by all these silences. And although top 5, they're kind of short on stuns, they're going to make it up for the fact that they will just be able to silence people. As far as stuns go and canceling TP scrolls, really it's only Dream Coil as well as Doom. And then maybe a Stomp or a Net from the Doom, but you know, those may or may not be available. Tengen Gaming definitely have the advantage in the stunning department, but you know, throwing the stuns against top 5, it will be difficult to make them stick. As I said before, Viper and Doom very tanky, and Puck very, very elusive. And Tengen Gaming don't really have any long-range silence, so you know, can't really slap an Ancient Seal on the Puck and have that be that. But the lanes right now, they're looking actually pretty even. Top 5, their Puck is the Doom is most likely going to be the off lane. At Tengen Gaming, they should be looking to match the Tidehunter against the Doom. That'll be just a great stomp of a lane for Tengen, as Tidehunter pretty much demolishes every single melee hero he comes up against. I want to say without exception, but I'm sure there's some exception that I'm not thinking of. But Tidehunter in a 1v1 melee lane is a pretty dominant hero. And at that point, Earthshaker, Razor, Witch Doctor, for example, is going to be a pretty nice combination for Tengen Gaming to go aggressive versus top 5. It will be an even lane, but the fact that Tidehunter should be stomping Doom really hard means that they should come out on top Tengen Gaming just a little bit. Looks like Tengen, they are going to go for that Rubik. At the very least, going to pick that up to deny it from top 5. I think it would have been a lot better in top 5's lineup, because Rubik, he does have some decent stuff to steal, but so do Tengen. So the Rubik being handled on the Tengen Gaming side is going to have good skills to steal are Mystic Flare, Doom, and Viper Strike. And Viper Strike you can always steal if you steal from Viper, pretty much 100% of the time. The only time you won't be able to is if Viper hasn't casted anything yet, and what is the percentage chance of that happening? Come on. Last pick for top 5, going to be some initiation. Both teams rather light on that front, or at least before the clockwork. Now top 5 have it in spades. With the clockwork as well as Puck to start fights, Tengen Gaming are most of the time probably going to be on the defensive. And well, that lets top 5 have the positioning advantage, have the surprise advantage, and well, they'll just have more initiation range in general. Hopefully for Tengen, eventually they will get the Blink Dagger for the Tidehunter and be able to surprise top 5 a little bit. But for the most part, it's going to be Tengen who are going to be initiated upon. But they have good tools to deal with that. They have the Ravage, they have an Earthshaker, so even if they do get jumped upon, hell, even the Rubik can pull the Clockwork out of his cogs, thereby saving whoever's in those cogs from a whole lot of damage. So top 5 get a lot of initiation from that pick. They also get a pretty nice setup with the Skyrath Mage, at least later on. Oh man, I keep on forgetting to freaking change away from this HUD. Holy HUDs, Batman. We're just going to go vanilla today. Just going to go vanilla because it fits the green a little bit better. And we are in this game in the customary pause, because this is how every game of Dota starts, in case you guys did not know. Let's go over who is going to be playing what for the top 5 side. We got whatever going to be supporting as the Skyrath Mage. Looks kind of weird when he's not flying. He's all like huddled up and everything like that. Beyond is going to be on the Puck. Yish is going to be playing the Clockwork. Flies on the Viper, and that leaves this guy with the Chinese name. I'm pretty sure it's legendary, but yeah, I'm not completely sure because I don't read that much Chinese. I know this character is the character for like I or me, and then this and this I have no clue because I don't know. On the Tengen, gaming side, it's going to be Squee standing in for Tengen for Squee Squad, or was that someone else? Is that someone else who starts the name with SQU? I don't know. Okay, on the Invoker, it's going to be Ryanoob. Tunurla is going to be playing the Earthshaker. That leaves Bartlett on the Rubik. Last hero for Tengen is a Tidehunter, and that's going to be played by most likely Railgun, who is currently chilling. I guess he wasn't the captain, so he was AFK, letting the entire other members of the team just pick whatever the hell they want. But yeah, this Clockwork, going back to this just a little bit more for top 5, it gives them initiation, it gives them cog setup into Mystic Flare, and if you do manage to make that stick without any force staves or anything like that, then that target is most likely going to die. Razor, Tidehunter might survive, but everyone else from Tengen is just going to get blown up within that combination. Tengen, they're going to need force staves, so I expect to see, at the very least, one from the Invoker. It's a fairly standard item on that hero. The Tidehunter might be getting one later on, although a pipe against a Puck, Doom, Viper, and a Skywrath is probably a good way to go as well. So for the Tidehunter, he's going to need to juggle his items between Blink Dagger, Pipe, and maybe a Force Staff. Why can't I use Victory Shout? Oh shit, I have that too. This is like the new stuff. I don't know where it is though. I'm not even going to go for it. I'm not going to go for it. But yeah, as far as the lanes are concerned, if the laning situation from top 5, well, I mean, they are going to be running a couple of weird supports. Skywrath Mage is the only quote-unquote support hero on the top 5 side, so we're going to see what they're going to be doing to make this run a little bit more smoothly. I want to say that Clockwork is probably the best supporting hero out of all these, if not just for jungling Doom and just have whatever play the support, but we'll see how these lanes shape up, because Tengen, they're going to be a little bit more clear with it, as they're going to send, for now, everyone up to the top lane, except for Scree, who may end up soloing the mid lane. I expect the Tidehunter as well as Razor to be soloing lanes. Or no, the Tidehunter and the Evoker to be soloing the lanes. And the Razor will probably stick up here. They're all going up towards the top side, and well, it looks like top 5, they are going to have no business there. They're just going to spread out to their lanes, and well, it is a Puck with boots and regeneration. Clockwork looks like he does want to go to the bottom lane by himself. So is this a support Puck? It seems like it might be, and that's not that good. Because Puck does need his levels, or her levels, or its levels, or whatever you want to call it. And if he gets picked off this early, then it'll be just disastrous. But there's a fissure onto Beyond. There's no more crowd control, as the telekinesis is just a little bit too low range. Turns out the boots is going to be pretty nice for the Puck after all. And Skywrath Mage also pretty damn quick, just with 325 base movement speed. Going to escape from that situation as well. So Tengen opening things up with a little bit of aggression attempt. Unfortunately for them, it's not going to result into anything. So these lanes are just going to devolve, and we'll see who's actually going to be sticking around. It is Railgun going to be soloing lane, and it looks like the rest of the supports should be going down bottom. I'm not really sure. Is this Doom just going to be full-on jungling? I mean, he doesn't actually have any survivability items. He's going to run to Ryanoob, so he can get some free damage, potentially. And he also has the Skywrath circling around, so Skywrath can start putting the hurt onto Ryanoob. He will. Arcane Bolt spam. It's frickin' annoying, and as Invoker, you can't really do anything to return that. You just pretty much got to take it until you get a couple more levels. But in the mid lane, Fly has gone for Poison Attack level 1, trying to be a little bit aggressive, but unfortunately for him, his Observer Ward did not see the fact that there's an invisibility rune picked up by the Rubik. So this might be pretty good for the Tengen side, although they are being wrapped around by whatever, as well as the Doom. And there's the Telekinesis onto Fly with a damage drain as well. The wall is going to actually wall off Scree and Bartlett, a pretty bad wall from Tunurla. Uncharacteristic from what I've seen of Tunurla as a player, but Fly is going to get away because of that. And granted, the damage wasn't going to be the highest, but still, I think they could have very easily gotten that kill, and Tunurla is going to make sure that he gets something out of it. He's like, yo, I can't kill you, so I'm just going to punch you until you're dead. Fissure might actually block Fly. Tunurla was just saving it for the solo kill. Brilliant planning, and that kill screen thing was so messed up for some reason. But Tunurla greedily getting the kill for himself, as he obviously played that out so that he would get all the money. I'm onto you, Earthshaker. I am for sure onto you. That's going to mean boots for him, and well, the roaming is going to continue from this hero. Doom has moved into the mid lane, and just to rotate in to absorb a little bit of the otherwise wasted experience, but Razor going to take that advantage and, well, turn that into just a little bit more lane control, as Fly is the first blood, and going to a support is pretty good for Tengen. Ordinarily, people would say, oh, you know, the first blood, you want to give it to your anti-mage or the Spectre or whatever. And, you know, that's fine if you're going to be going for hand and bite or something like that. But if you're just going to be playing a regular game, then getting boots on the Earthshaker is just going to be so much more useful in the short run. And if he's useful in the short run, then your whole team will be useful in the long run, so it'll be pretty beneficial there. It looks like for Tengen, the top lane, well, that BN as well as Railgun is going to be going at it. Both of those heroes do have boots, and I honestly don't think either of these two should get a kill on each other. The Puck has a larger chance of getting a kill on the Tidehunter than the Tidehunter and the Puck, at least before level 6. Ravage is unlikely to hit on the Puck unless he messes up his phase shift. And even then, Tidehunter is going to have to burst that Puck down really quickly. Without Gush, that's going to be difficult to do. Flying in a little bit of trouble once again. Bartlett is going to show his face and then run away. Intimidation tactics. I'm pretty sure the Rubik was seen there and the tower was focusing on something else, but I can't be sure. Doom is going to just full-on jungle as Squee is manhandling Fly in this mid lane. 8 for 3 versus the 2 for 1. They're trading quite a few hits, and Doom's going to come forward. Doesn't actually have that much. He has a Shockwave. It does okay damage. It's 125, but definitely not enough to get the kill. Fly getting a slight upper hand in that trade, but still Razor. Level 4 versus the only level 2 Viper. Top 5, they are going to be babysitting this Clockwork down bottom. Not usually a hero that needs a lot of babysitting, but I guess against the Sunstrike Fissure combination, you could always use a little bit more protection. Speaking of protection on the top lane, Bian once again going toe-to-toe with Railgun. This is going to be at least a salve forced out. Puck actually has the Magic Stick advantage right now, so every single time that Anchor Smash is casted, it's going to be a little more regeneration for the Puck, as he does use the salve. Railgun dropped pretty low and doesn't know that the Doom is right around the corner. If he gets it with the War Stomp, he can very easily go down, although he is salving himself. So he should be fine. He can actually fight his way out of this pretty decently with 2 points, Anchor Smash, and 2 Kraken Shell, especially with Earthshaker coming in. There's a Scorched Earth, and Railgun going to get hit, with a little bit of damage, but ultimately he's just going to walk his way out. Again, very low on the crowd control is top 5 without their Clockwork, so locking down Railgun without stuns or slows or anything like that is going to be a pretty ambitious feat. Mid lane, Fly is fighting back pretty well, I would say. Kind of unexpected given how much of an advantage he's got, but Ryanoob on the bottom lane might be in a little trouble. Battery Assault plus Cogs. Going to catch Ryanoob within the duration of his tower. No creeps to absorb that Battery Assault. And the tower, unfortunately, not cooperating as Yeesh going to now go for Bartlett, taking a lot of damage from that Battery Assault and the right clicks. The Telekinesis is there, but here comes the Skywrath Mage from the side. Doesn't have another concussive shot, but the Vision will be enough for one more concussive. 53 HP, the Rubikus are going to survive for now, but Yeesh wants to go in on this one. Ryanoob only has a Stun Strike, will throw it, and will miss on that Skywrath, who will escape, albeit barely. He's going to start Clarity-ing as well as Tango-ing himself up. But Bartlett ultimately does get to escape, as in the meantime, middle lane, looks like there's a Plasma Field on the Viper, going to secure him as a kill, second kill for this mid lane, or second kill going towards, let's say, against the Viper. Viper died twice, guys, that's what happened. And getting just a little bit of help for the Earthshaker, who has so far been the bane of Viper's existence. And really, a jungling Doom can't do much to contribute to any of this. If you're going to be Doom and if you're going to be jungling, you really can't do anything, except for, maybe an Ensnare, but that's 150 frickin' mana. Doom ain't got mana for that. He needs to be, in a lane farming if he wants to be able to contribute, because then he'll get level 6 really quickly. Otherwise, you're pretty much relegating Doom to the very passive, very, I'm not going to be doing anything, I'm AFK jungling role. Once he hits level 6, that'll change, but he's not being punished at all from Tengen. Their supports aren't roaming into the jungle, so Doom is getting all the time and space in the world to pretty much do whatever the hell he wants, and that could be pretty dangerous. Yeesh on the bottom lane is playing very aggressively as well. The Skywrath Mage did leave him alone on that bottom lane, and Squee, well, he's going to get hit with a concussive shot. Fly doesn't have a Viper Strike just yet, but with the amount of slows and the damage they're putting out, Razor going to be killed by the Viper, it looks like. Thought the Skywrath Mage with the Arcane Bolt was going to take that one, but, Squee sitting in the mid lane at just a little bit too low of an HP pool. Ultimately going to end up in his death. Tunurla is spotted out by Yeesh, but if he gets this Fissure regardless, no, the Cogs, and suddenly Earthshaker out of mana. Poor dumb cow. In the meantime, Tidehunter is going to be the one who dies up on top. It's a level advantage for the Puck, ultimately a 2-level advantage actually. And yeah, as predicted, Puck with the, well, not with the phase boots, but getting that ultimate is just going to give him just that additional bump of damage in order to kill off the fish. And Tidehunter can, in theory, get a kill back on the Puck, but he's going to need a little bit of help at this point. Being in levels it down, going to make it very difficult for that Tide to kind of recover in that lane. Though, to be fair, he is doing okay. He has his Arcane Boots, and he's going to be farming up his Blink Dagger soon enough. There is a 1, 2, 3 stack of hard creeps, and old bottom lane, Yeesh going to get walled off by a Fissure. Sunstrike is going to land squarely onto the Clockwork, but the Cogs going to be hurting everyone as they can't get close enough, but the lift back, and now they're close enough. Invoker with the Exort damage going to kill off Yeesh on the bottom lane. Pretty easy, although a little bit more clumsy than they really would have liked. Regardless, it's going to be a kill for Ryanoob, and he's sitting now on 1,200 gold. And you know what 1200 gold means? It means Hand of Midas for the Invoker, most likely. I want to say it's Hand of Midas because Exhort Invoker always does benefit from the experience and the gold, and also the attack speed. Like, as far as heroes go, there are an Exhort Invoker does benefit a lot from that. Fly. Don't get too close, Fly. Don't do it. Squeeze going to go for it. There's this Link, and he has one more whip shot, and then the spell cast. It won't kill off Fly. Oh no, it will kill off Fly with one more whip shot. Okay, Razor, though, going to be punished for his greed. Razor does go down, but he does get the Viper kill, and I think Razor should be okay with that. Although giving up a pretty large kill to whatever is going to give him that bump of experience to level 6. Ultimately, if you're in that position, you can't not go for that. Like, you have to be one of the most freaking disciplined players on the planet to not go for that kill. Level 2 Corrosive Skin, just not enough to protect the Viper from level 4 Plasma Field, which does do a pretty large amount of damage, especially if it hits on the outer ring like that. Rubik's going to try to get a little bit of experience, but as far as experience is concerned, Skyrath is level frickin' 7, and Rubik's only level 3. Now hit with the Concussive Shot. If there was man on the Skyrath, that would be a dead Rubik. This guy really needs his levels. If he doesn't get levels, he's going to be really sad. Railgun up on top. Speaking of sad, going to be taking quite a few hits. Has the Earthshaker to back him up, but again, Earthshaker's only level 4. The Skyrath Mage has been pretty much dual laning it up with the Clockwork, so they're both going to be at about the same amounts of experience. And ultimately, top 5 with the Doom Jungle should be holding on to a decent advantage here, and they are. Upwards of 2,000 in experience, upwards of 1,500 for gold, and top lane. There's initiation onto Railgun. He has a Ravage, but he's not going to pop it. There's the pop, and now he's going to kill off Beyond before he does go down. Ravage also hit whatever, but I don't think Tunurla can chase this one down. Although last time he did prove me wrong. Eating through the trees, has a Fisher in 3, 2, 1. Setting up for a Sunstrike, perhaps. Fish. Okay, never mind. This time he's going to let him go. They do lose the Rubik in the meantime. Looks like Clockwork just got a hookshot kill on that hero. And yeah, top 5. They dive pretty deep for a Tidehunter who's always going to be a little bit tankier than you really expect. End up drawing the Ravage, but they do lose their puck in exchange. Overall, it's going to be a series of events that does benefit top 5. Unfortunately, the Invoker, for whatever reason, unable to throw a Sunstrike up to that top lane. If there was another Fissure Sunstrike combo, pretty sure they could have gotten that kill. It's level 3 Exhort, level 4 Exhort actually. So that Sunstrike does do some pretty decent damage, especially against the hero that is soft as Skyrath Mage. But Skyrath gets to escape, and now he's level 8. The Skyrath's going to be putting out some very serious hurt. Is really, for as far as levels go for top 5, Skyrath is somehow more than the Clockwork. I guess it's just not dying kind of does that for you. He's equal levels of the other 2 cores, so suddenly support Skyrath is core Skyrath is Beyond in the top lane. Gonna hit with a Gush and Telekinesis shortly to follow. Gonna drag him back, but he has a phase shift, taking a lot of physical damage. Gets the silence off. Another Anchor Smash in just a little bit, but the kills are happening on other lanes. Beyond is going to phase shift away, and it looks like he will survive. Where are these kills happening, and why did I miss all of them? Looks like there was one on the mid, one on the bottom. Earthshaker denied the Razor, actually, so that was the number 1 usage of Doom. Ultimately not getting anything, so it was only just a 1 kill on the Invoker bottom lane. Gotta assume that was just a hookshot into a Mystic Flare. Mystic Flare not used, though, so maybe just hookshot into damage. But, you know, can't get them all, unfortunately. Only have 1 camera, and I was following action. Don't blame me, guys. Jesus. Doom trying to contribute a little bit, and once he's level 6, and now that he is, he'll be able to do that. I mean, obviously, closing the distance for Doom Scorched Earth is a lot easier with the phase boots. Invisibility will help, but getting denied always going to hurt for the Doom, because he was pretty much farming the entire game for that moment. And Invoker killed the Viper. Yeah, okay. I just completely glazed over that fact. Here we go. This is something I'm not going to glaze over because Bartlett is running away from Angry Bird. He's going to walk right into a Mystic Flare. He's going to try to juke it out, but ends up riding it into a Doom. You know, it's like, pick your poison. Do you want to die from Fiery Hellfire or, like, Purifying Mystic Light? I don't know. It's Rubik's choice, I guess. Ultimately, there was no escape there for him. The burst damage, and the fact that Skyrath hasn't died, means that he's going to now be at level 9. This Skyrath is actually freaking terrifying. He might actually be the most scary hero on the map. Maybe Viper a little bit scarier, since if he lands a Viper Strike on you, he's just going to kill you pretty much no matter what. But still, the Skyrath Mage, he's dishing. He's absolutely dishing, and this is terrifying for pretty much everyone on Tengen. Tidehunter will eventually be able to survive this, as will the Razor, but they're actually not that tanky either. Razor on the bottom lane. I don't know why he's so aggressively in. Yeesh, gonna close the distance for the Cogs. Battery Assault as well. Squee having a Death Wish. He's gonna give yet another kill / experience assist to the Skyrath, but now flying in the mid lane. He's gonna be lifted up after the Fissure. Gush is there. Anchor Smash as well. They're gonna demolish this Viper. It's a 1-for-1 kill, relatively even as far as heroes that were killed and people that got those kills. But really, the bottom lane, that shouldn't have happened. Razor probably just getting a little bit too overconfident with static link, didn't realize there was more heroes in the area, and getting sufficiently punished for it. He's going for a bracer, so that would indicate he's going for a drum set. But you know, you would probably want to get a mech if you're on the Tengen side. If Razor on the Tengen side, mid lane in the meantime, Forged Spirits will kill off the tower, not destroyed by the top 5 side. They have a Ravage, but they don't really want to use it just yet. They could fight this one. There's only a couple heroes there. I mean, it'll be a 4v4, although they didn't know about that. But if you get the Ravage off without having to deal with the Doom at all, I'd say that was something that they could have taken a shot at. Instead, they're going to decide to smoke up and have Tunurla be obliterated. Sitting in Mystic Flare, Orb is going to fly over, amplified by that seal. And Earthshaker trying to get a Fissure out, but unfortunately it takes about 50 years to cast a Fissure, because that totem be heavy. And now they see Bartlett. Do they see him? Yes, Yeesh has an angle. He's going to throw it. Oh, just barely missing. Bartlett is going to survive, at least for now. Still being chased down by the Puck, and if Puck finds sight on him, then he could very well kill this Rubik. Gonna throw a Fade Bolt, and here comes Railgun, gonna walk right in. Does get the Ravage off, though he does get pushed back by the Cogs, so it's gonna be hard for them to follow up. Echo Slam only on Yeesh, not doing too much of anything. They need another Fissure to lock someone down. There's a coil onto 2. Now Doom's in the back end. He's doomed up the Invoker, and he should be able to chase him down successfully, and he will. Bian is also in the back end, and Tengen so far is getting cleaned up. Everyone is being just surrounded from Tengen. There's going to be another kill, as Puck does kill off the Tidehunter in the back. Razor was not a part of that fight at all, and top 5 just converged upon Tengen. First of all, that initiation from Tengen was really rough. They used an Echo Slam that hit only one hero. They used a Ravage that didn't really hit that much because the Cogs were up. And now they're going to lose a tower on bottom, the top 5 side. The Doom might get punished for this. The damage is just going to be enough. Squee does get a solo kill, and he does, you know, bring down the tower at the very least, but he's getting converged upon as well. There's not that much mana on the Scarith Mage, but if he gets with a Viper Strike, that could be his Doom. He needs to TP out shortly. Gotta go, man. Gotta go. Oh, they see him. Alright, here we go. Viper Strike. Amplify, still no Mystic Flare, but the damage on Squeeze should be enough. Here comes Rhino for a Cold Stop onto Wediver. This is going to be a pretty nice bounty for him. It will be a 1-for-1 trade in the end, but that Scarith Mage was actually only on a killing spree. Luckily for him, he was getting all assists and no kills, so, you know, 9-16, and top 5 holding a pretty nice lead in this game, though they are playing without any Hands of Midas, going for a blink on the Doom, and the Viper being a lot closer to the mech than the Razor. Or, you know, a little bit closer to the mech than the Razor. Also, Bien has his Blink Dagger and Railgun up on top. Very, very close to his. So he's got to play a little bit cautiously. If he gets picked off right now, it's pretty much the worst possible thing that could happen for Tengen. Although with Bien in the lane, he shouldn't be picked off the Tidehunter unless he gets really stupidly aggressive. And Clockwork is off to the side. With this damage from Clockwork and the Puck, they should be able to take down, well, the Razor or the Tidehunter. Maybe not both, though. They're going to go in for the Puck. There's the Gush and the Plasma Field. Half of it will be dodged, and now the coil onto 2. Here comes Yeesh, going to get in for a hookshot, though he will cancel it for now. Cogs are up, will split both Squee as well as Railgun. The Puck is out to safety, and Railgun's being silenced and chased down. Clockwork going to get 1 kill. Now hookshot to Squee. Unfortunately, will make the Mystic Flare miss, but top 5's Loom is also in the area, so they'll get the kill regardless, even though the Mystic Flare doesn't exactly hit. By that I mean completely whiffed. It's another 2 kills for top 5, and they're just taking every single fight just a little bit better for Tengen. And Tengen pretty much getting outnumbered and getting outvalued. Their ultimates shouldn't, or when the ultimates aren't up, first of all, you shouldn't be fighting. Or whenever your ultimates are, you're unwilling to use your ultimates, you shouldn't be fighting. And when they are in the middle lane, that's really just shows top 5 how much damage they could take if the Tengen ultimates don't line up properly. That being said, if Tengen do line up their ultimates properly, get a proper Ravage before Cogs are in the way, get an Echo Slam that hits more than one person, have Invoker drop a couple spells, they could certainly wipe top 5, and it'll be a very easy cleanup. But that's a lot of things that have to have happen. And against so many Blink Daggers, you know, the Blinking Doom, it's going to be top 5 to once again just start initiating all the fights. And again, with that, it's going to be them taking the initiative and having the general advantage. Squee. He's not going to have to worry about a hookshot just yet. And also, the Clockwork doesn't actually see this. He might have seen that Plasma Field. Oh, he sees the Razor now. He's waiting for a clear shot. Eagle 1, Fox 2. No. Yeesh is going to hold it for now. But that ward still providing some serious value. Just the threat in itself is enough to at least scare Tengen a little bit. They're going to go for top lane, though. They have a Blink Ravage. But unfortunately for them, top 5, or unfortunately for Tengen, top 5 are just going to completely sack this top lane. So They're going to get the tower, yes, but not getting any kills either. So it could be a lot better. Actually, no. Clockwork is teleporting up here. As a hook shot, will land onto Generla. With this Earthshaker solo in the cogs with the Battery Assault, he can't get any spells off. He's going to go down to Yeesh. Is there anyone else? There's a blink forward for a coil onto only Ryanu, but the damage is there. He gets Force Staff, which will break the chain. Not worth it at all, buddy. And now the Doom onto the Tidehunter. This is going to be a really deep chase. I don't think they can kill the Tide unless Puck has another blink, which he does soon. Puck Orb. Okay, never mind. Doom is doing a lot of damage. That's a level 2 level death. It must have been multiplied. 5. No, it wasn't. Okay, well, apparently level death just does a lot more damage than I gave it credit for. Tengen, they lose 3. They don't even get the tower. And top 5 looking pretty unstoppable in this now death ball that they've assembled. And they have 4 stabs. They have 2 blink daggers and a hook shot and a mech. So this tower is definitely going to be forfeit by Tengen. They have a Ravage. They have an Echo Slam. But without a blink dagger to position the Echo Slam, it's going to be really difficult for them to line up all their skills. Fortunately for them, top 5 pushing isn't the best. In fact, none of their heroes are what I would call pushing heroes. Maybe Viper a little bit with the Nether Toxin, but you know that's kind of flimsy. The top 5, they're mostly all about that hero fighting, and that's going to be what they're going to look to do. Back up and look for more Clockwork initiation. He's now wielding that point booster, so soon enough, the Aghanim's is going to come from Yeesh. He's only missed like 2 hook shots or something like that, so they've been more or less on the mark. And against Earthshaker, Rubik, Invoker as a 4 staff, he'll keep himself alive, and Razor probably going to stay alive as well. Really, the Invoker has to make sure that he's nearby the Clockwork whenever shit happens. That 4 staff is going to be instrumental in securing their escapes, because if whoever's calling the cogs doesn't get out, they're going to be facing down a level 2 Mystic Flare. And that's a lot higher than it would ordinarily be at this time. Usually it would only be a level 1 flare. You know, the damage difference is pretty substantial with 400 damage at each level gain. And now Generla spotted out by a flare. Gonna cancel the fissure, and there's the hook shot in. Gonna go for Generla once again with the solo Battery Assault. Will kill Earthshaker, can't get anything off. Railgun, though, is gonna get doomed to the back end. The Earthshaker does get his Echo Slam off, but again, only onto the Clockwork. There's the Mystic Flare onto Railgun. Goodbye, Tide onto Squee. Doing a lot of damage to Fly, but it's just not gonna be enough. Being with the Dagon is gonna clean that Razor up, and then Ryan, Noob, and Bartlett, they just have to book it. Their 3 most tanky heroes are down, and they didn't last very long. Top 5 just have every single advantage in this game. Gold almost at that 10k mark, 12,000 in the experience. Oh man, this is going to be extremely, extremely dangerous for the Tengen side. At this point, they need a miracle fight with, you know, a 5v3 or something like that, just because top 5 are holding such a huge advantage in this game. No longer is it enough for an Echo Slam to hit onto 3 heroes and a Ravage to hit onto those same 3 heroes. And that'll do a little bit, but they'll mech up and they'll be more or less just fine just because of the advantage they have. Ryan Noob hasn't really been a huge part in these fights. He has that Hand of Midas and a 4 staff, but if you're not actually contributing with those spells in Invoker, then what the hell are you doing with your life? And Invoker might be in a little bit of trouble as well. Doesn't have any points in Wex, so there's going to be no Ghost Walk. If he gets vision, or if the top 5 side get vision of him, he might just be dead. There's a concussive shot and a teleport out from Ryan Noob. Not enough damage, nothing to interrupt that. Unfortunately, for top 5, they have to let the Invoker go. But wow, Doom getting a very early Aghanim Scepter. And I'm always on the fence as far as Aghanim Scepter on Doom. I mean, it does make it so that if you cast on to pretty much anyone, they will just die if you stick with them. The hard part is sticking with them through fissures and telekinesis and stuff like that. But if Doom finds heroes like this in the bottom lane, just Tunerla doing Tunerla things by himself, then the Doom's going to have a field day, because once the Doom is cast, the Earthshaker literally doesn't have a chance. Yeesh also looking for a couple heroes. Missile's going to fly. You should know where the Razor is more or less. But going in on that, a little bit over-aggressive of him. Now Tunerla in a little bit of trouble because of Skywrath Mage. He sees you. Concussive. Silence. No Mystic Flare mana, though. A little bit short, but the Clockwork is there. That's fine. Sharing is caring, and caring is nice. In the meantime, mid lane Fly might be a kill for Tengen, finally to get something for them. The Ravage does pop off, and now the Doom onto the Invoker. Fly still alive, although not for long. He's going to go down. Ryanoop is going to be brought down by Bien's Dagon. Whatever's also in the area. Still doesn't have that much mana, but Railgun is slowed down by quite a bit. Eye of the Storm doing a little bit of damage to the Doom, but definitely not enough. Coil onto 2 now, as they do take out the Skywrath Mage. Razor gets actually 2 of them with that Plasma Field. It's a triple kill for Squee. Top 5. Taking a really messy fight. They don't have their Clockwork in the area. Puck is now booking it. Clockwork doesn't even have a hook shot. Tengen can realistically go for this Clockwork again. He's been instrumental in these fights, Clockwork. That is the weirdest series of events I've ever seen. But now Bartlett going to try to TP out. Unfortunately, Clockwork with the Battery Assault going to clean him up. That's going to tie the kill score up in that fight, but the raids are getting initiated upon, then top 5 pretty much running in one at a time. Pretty much the worst way you could take a fight ever, running in one at a time. Got to go in as group, as did help Tengen out a little bit. They did invest a lot of time in bringing down that Viper, but top 5, they just didn't have enough staying power to kill off the Razor quickly enough. Getting that secondary plasma field off was instrumental. It got him a couple kills, and that's going to give him just a nice jump of gold. Drum now being picked up on the Razor with the mech already available. 6-7-1. A lot more deaths on the Razor than you would really like, but hey, getting kills regardless is always going to be decent enough. Although, stop feeding. Let's be honest, stop feeding. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Top 5, they don't really have any goals, it looks like, to make a high ground push anytime soon. As far as late game is concerned, Tengen, they have an Invoker and Razor to work with, though it is going up against a whole boatload of top 5 heroes who currently have more and are just farming really, really quickly. The Viper doesn't actually have that much. He's 164. Top 5, it's actually the worst score on their team. And I guess the Skywrath kind of makes up for it, with Viper having a support score and Skywrath Mage having more of a Viper score. They'll still be able to fight pretty convincingly, but if they let this game drag on for too long, then Tengen can make a pretty viable comeback. But if they do stuff like this, then, you know, they'll get the kills. Hookshot into the Invoker, easy kills for top 5. And then off of that pick, probably look for a tier 2 tower. This one, perfectly healthy, but not for long. In the meantime, Fly up on top is in a little bit of trouble potentially. He's just putting a lot of pressure up on top so that Tengen can't make a defense down bottom. And they also see Tunurla. There's the Doom level death. Well, that Doom was completely unnecessary, but they got him. It's a double kill for the Doom. And now they're going to have to translate this into a tier 2 tower, right? They gotta. If not, then you're just never going to end the game. Gotta get those objectives, guys. You gotta get those objectives. And it's only going to be Bian as well as whatever down this bottom lane. They're not going to clear this. For whatever reason, top 5, they could have very easily just put all 4 heroes onto this bottom lane and taken this tower. But clearly they have other plans. Yeesh going to sell an item, try to get a little bit closer to his Aghanim Scepter. He'll have that one soon enough. He doesn't want to use another hookshot until that happens. In the meantime, bottom lane, Squee going to teleport himself in. He's pretty tanky at this point with the Razor. Got a lot of time to farm for that Ogre Club, for that Drum of Endurance. So he's able to take hits pretty decently, and he's also pretty quick. And I'm concerned for top 5. This game might come to the point where they just have waited for way too long. Although they still have a fair amount of time. And by fair amount, I mean they have a lot of time in order to get all these kills. Because they're still getting pick-offs pretty convincingly. But the longer they wait, the longer Earthshaker has to pick up a Blink Dagger. Now Invoker has his. Tidehunter could pick up something like a Pipe to protect his team. And top 5, they're going to be without answers. But they see Squee with the Rocket Flare. And Bian going to take a pretty large hit from that Plasma Field. Top 5, are they really going to go for this one? They're going to be 3v5. I don't think they know that fact, otherwise they wouldn't be anywhere near this. Squee is spotted out, and Yeesh does have a level 2 hookshot with an Aghanim's upgrade, so it's going to be like a 10-second cooldown? 12-second cooldown. Close enough. He's completely spotted out by the Radiant, but they're just going to jump in for a little bit of damage on the Squee, and Viper is going to be the one who's converged upon. But Clockwork, looking for that hook, not going to find it. Instead it's going to be Rubik potentially. Though the Doom has his Doom up, though dooming the Rubik, not the best idea. There's a fissure as it's going to clip Bian as he does jump in, but now Doom wants in. He has to Doom that Tidehunter. They're going to get Tunurla with the Dagon Blast. That's one nice kill for top 5. Can they get anything else? Hookshot's still available. Going to be thrown and will completely whiff. I think he was going for the Rubik there. Didn't really know for sure. But now top 5. Literally they're all in the mid lane. They can't possibly not go for a push, right? There's not much stopping them now that the Earthshaker is gone. They'll have to deal with Ravage, yes, but you'll pretty much always have to deal with that unless Doom gets a Doom off very quickly. And Tengen, they're not even looking to defend this. Just Rhino pulling the creeps with the Forged Spirits, being a minor nuisance. But Doom with Plate Mail is more than capable of tanking this tower. Or Viper, or both. They could all share the pain. Because once again, sharing is caring. With Clockwork off to the side, constantly looking for those hook shots, Tengen, they actually can't mount a significant defense. They have to wait till the high ground. And this is going to be big for top 5, not in that they take a tier 2 tower, but because it opens the door for them to take another tier 2 tower. Because the lack of defense by Tengen says we are not willing to defend tier 2 towers. And top 5er should make good use of that by going down bottom. Because if Tengen don't defend mid, really they're not going to defend bot. At least they shouldn't. That just wouldn't make sense. And they especially won't do it if Squee gets killed right now. Skywrath Mage does have a lot of damage, but I don't know if it's enough to kill off this Razor. Rather tanky, and he does have support right behind him. The Refresher Orbs being built by Tidehunter. Very slowly, though. Not even with the first Oblivion Staff, or I guess the only Oblivion Staff. And top 5, they should be making their way down bottom. Bien going to lead the charge. Eye of the Storm is already active on the squeeze. The magic damage going to do a little bit. Ravage now going to catch 2 heroes on the side, but there's not really much follow-up there. There's a Doom now. No, actually canceled. Can they get the Doom out? Yes, they will. Onto Squee, but it might be stolen. No, it won't. The Mystic Flare in the back end going to clean up 2 heroes. Yeesh gets 2 in the cogs. That's a double kill for him. Now Squee getting hit with an orb. He's going to go down as well. 3 down from Tengen. That's going to be 4. This is going to be 5. Railgun's going to get zapped. Bartlett calls GG. Top 5, they only lose the Doom, who took pretty much all of that damage. And Yeesh setting up for a perfect 2-man Mystic Flare. Well, that's the combination that I was talking about before, and that means the game number 1 is going to be over, guys. Unfortunately for Tengen, they dropped this one. So top 5 are going to be leading the series 1-0 in this best of 2. And because it is best of 2, we're going to be right back for game number 2 in just a little while, guys. Hold on to your seats. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.